Hey, Ellen, thanks for getting the information in, and this is actually incredibly helpful because now I can ask you this. Why are you shooting at f/22 for portraiture? We would really expect in portraiture that you'd be shooting somewhere around like f5.6 or lower, really. And I see that like this image has got an exposure of 1 second long, and that is a ridiculous request of your model. Am I right about that? Is it, because I see these numbers here. I see 8 1/4 equals 1 second at f/22, and then here I see 8 1/4 equals half a second at f/22. Okay, yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is a half a second exposure, and this is a 1 second exposure. So really, like, that's crazy. And so I'm not sure what your ISOs are here. They're probably okay. Your ISO is probably acceptable. If you're going to be if you have to expose for a second or a half a second, your ISO is probably low enough, so it's under 400. So that makes sense. But f/22 is really high for this assignment. So if you're using your meter in aperture priority, let's see your meter shot. There it is. Yeah. So you can put this guy in meter priority, or aperture priority rather. So prioritize like something below f5.6, and then see what happens. You don't have to resubmit, but I want you to know that that's a technical error. Because this is a really shallow space. You don't need an infinite depth of field. And at f/22, you're starting to lose clarity in the image because the aperture is so tiny. Really, at any aperture above f16, and even, I would say above f11, honestly, you're losing clarity in the image because the aperture is so tiny. And for portraiture, we really want a lot of clarity, so we're going to keep it a wider aperture. And we also don't need a real big depth of field, so we can really open that sucker up and then have fast shutter speeds so we're not blurring our model. And how on earth did your model sit that still? I'm almost thinking that you've made a mistake in writing down your settings, because I just don't see this being so crisp and clear at a 1 second long exposure. I mean, unless he's just like super zen or something. Let me know. Let me know what you were thinking with that really tiny aperture setting, and let me know if that was even on your mind or if that just kind of happened. And go ahead and be honest, because this is a beginning class here, and we're just trying to really learn our technique. So just tell me what's going on with these settings, okay? And thank you again for getting those in there. That's actually really, really helpful. Thank you so much, Ellen.